Welcome back to another episode of Steve Talks About Night Vision Stuff. On this episode, we're going to talk a bit about the COTI again, but more so specifically our COTI Defender features, etc. And then the other half of the video will be basically going into how to install it, getting the various levels and how it all fits all together, and getting it on the device itself. So the Jerry series of clip-on thermal imagers has become quite popular in the last year, just because of the fact that it's attractively priced, etc. So basically what we wanted to do was create a shield for it, which will allow more people to use a device like this. And, I think one of the primary concerns was durability and ruggedness, and whether or not it can take hits if you're doing milsims and things. And a lot of the hesitation, I think, for getting this device was, how do you protect the germanium lens? So germanium is a very dense but brittle substance, and does not take much for these lenses to shatter. Another possible weak point for the Jerry is really this plastic projection arm. It is kind of beefy, but honestly, it's just another point that we wanted to set out to protect. And then lastly, we wanted to make sure that this multifunction dial was kind of well guarded as well from two things. One is just accidentally kind of bumping the settings out of whatever you want, but also it's sort of just hanging out here kind of really overtly. So we wanted to make sure that that was shielded. So we partnered up with Josh from Isle Manufacturing down in the States to create this COTI protector. So a lot of reasons and a lot of thought went into this, and we'll kind of get into everything. So first of all, we had to kind of move away from that traditional hard plastic that is very common on a lot of the protectors out there, because this stuff is not multi-hit rated. And what I mean by that is if you're playing milsims and things like that and you're taking rounds on this type of material shatters. So if you're thinking about buying a protector, make sure that it's made out of not this hard plastic, because this stuff does not hold up under impacts. It just it chips, it shatters, and you don't want to pay anywhere from 90 to I don't know, a few $100s to have this break. That would suck. So anyway, we decided to move away from that, and we decided to use this flexible TPU materials. As you can see, it's there's a lot of give to it, but also it's semi-rigid. So what that means is, for example, if I bend it, it springs back into place. You can also bend it back the other way, etc. So it's pretty pliable. A lot of advantages for this. This is multi-hit rated, meaning that you can basically shoot the shit out of it, and it does not break. The TPU material, because it's kind of a soft, rubbery kind of material, it's kind of hard to describe. It's like semi-rigid. But basically the advantage of that is, it can absorb a ton of impacts and basically look brand new. Another positive of this is that it's very pliable. So when you're installing it, once you get it on, it's actually a toolless installation. We've actually gone ahead and removed the bikini cover from the stock device. But when you get it on, right, once it's on, it's not coming off. One other feature that we wanted to point out was the fact that we actually contoured this. And the reason why we did that is because you'll see here on the older version that we had, basically this was flat. And what that meant was when you were getting impacts on this, it was actually transferring a lot of that energy into it. And it was basically, we were using an older material as well. So it was kind of shattering here because it was absorbing a lot of that energy. This basically we did two things here. Obviously moved to a different material, and also kind of gave it a bit of more of a fin shape so that it does actually deflect more so than kind of take on the full impact. So this actually does a lot better in terms of just energy dissipation, etc. So we set out to create a system where you can actually decide for yourself what protection level you want. So we created one that is just the germanium lens for the highest transmission possible. We created a version where it's just a titanium shield, like a mesh shield, or you can have both. The reason why you might want the germanium only is for the highest performance. If you want something that has multi-hit capability, you would get the titanium shield. And if you want both, basically, if you want the highest level of protection, you basically put the titanium shield in front of the germanium. The reason why you might want to do that is because the titanium shield, and again, it depends on your projectiles that you're dealing with, right? With the titanium shield, it will catch or it will stop a lot of objects, but you have to think about spalling and whether or not the projectile you're stopping is going to be frangible, meaning that is it going to splinter? Is it going to have things pass through this? So we've actually built in a bit of a buffer here, even within the actual the way it's mounted. So when you actually have something hit this and it does spall, a lot of that kinetic energy is actually caught by this shield already, and then this germanium actually takes just a fraction of the remaining power in the projectile. So that's why this whole system together gives you good performance, and also sort of like the comprehensive protection level that you're looking for. So when you get these will be pre-assembled for you. So I'm not sure how useful this will be in terms of, I guess, for servicing if you ever need to or take it apart. But basically what we've done here is with the titanium shield is actually it sits inside, and you'll see that there's a groove at the top here and the bottom, which retains the titanium shield so it doesn't rattle around or anything like that. The other benefit of having these two tabs is that if you're going for the level 4 performance, which is has the germanium as well as a titanium shield, is that the germanium is not resting on this titanium shield and basically scratching it. So these tabs actually act as a bit of a spacer as well, so that there's a bit of a standoff between these two mediums. So essentially when you get it like this, for example, you get level 4, these will essentially come as a set together. So it'll be pre-installed. So when you get the level 2 or the level 4 kit, it'll look something like this. Obviously, if you get the level 2, you don't get the titanium mesh, but you'll notice that the germanium is actually held in place by these 4 tabs. And the reason why we want to do that is so that the germanium doesn't fall out if you tipped it upside down or whatever. And then when you look at the front, there's going to be a bit of a space between the mesh itself. So essentially how you would actually install this is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much a flush fit. So all you would do is literally slip it over and make sure that these two are snug. So once you have it installed, it's going to look something like this. And basically you're still able to press down on this multifunction dial. You're still able to actuate this, dial the power up and down as you need to. And obviously it doesn't block any other controls or anything else. And then with regards to the actual installation or finishing up the installation, you could put these 2 screws back in here. There is a little tiny flange here that will catch on the factory screws. That will make this a little bit harder to remove, or require you to remove the screws first. Like I said, this doesn't rattle, it doesn't move around, it doesn't fall off, and for you to actually remove this, you would actually have to go in and physically pry both sides, and then it'll come off. So it's up to you whether or not you guys want to use these 2 factory screws, but like I said, it's completely optional. We've tested this full-on sprint, and it hasn't come off or hasn't even come loose at all. So in the next few clips, I'm going to show you what it looks like without the protector and with the protector in 3 different levels. So right here, this is without any protector at all. And this is with level 2, level 3, and this is level 4. So you'll kind of notice that it actually, with level 4, it actually cuts down on some of the thermal noise. It doesn't have any issues picking up the heat signature at all. So there you have it, guys. This is the Cold Harbor COTI Defender, made in association with IL Manufacturing. These are available now and shipping immediately.